on me.
What happened next?
That nigga came to court and told on me.
Put that on something.
I sold my soul, homie. Called the highway patrol on me, plus the sheriffs and cops. He told him my name was Eric and I carried a Glock. Soon as you start blowing shots, them niggas going to tail. Don't have a meeting with the cops and then you going to jail. They'll tell him about the shooting, take him, show him his well. DA trying to see your cash, they gon' throw him the nails. They wanna throw me up in the cell and have me with a L again. Back to strip searchers and guards, read my mail again. Had me far away in the bay, I'm talking Pelican. Eating cold ass soy burgers and warm gelatin. I'm far too intelligent to fall for that twice. Niggas yelling gang gang and ain't about that life. And they'll turn rat right in front of your face. Get you found guilty plus 100 years on the case. Your mama in the court with tears running all on her face. Her baby shackled feet, hands and waist.
Goddamn.
These niggas ain't.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you like the video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime you drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, like I keep telling y'all, man, the flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. Yeah, that's me gassing on the intro. And if you want to hear more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, and you will find a lot of my music there. Now let's hop right up in this story. So yeah, you see the title, The Last Time I Saw OG Chances. So the last time I saw him physically, before the last time I saw him, is in 2003. We happened to be cellies in Ironwood due to a riot that we got into on Sea Yard involving in the Bloods. And actually, if you haven't seen that story, check it out. That particular story is, I believe, the last time that I stopped pretty much using real names, real hoods and stuff like that. The reason being is, even though when I told that story, the story was from 2003 and almost 20 years, it created a lot of hostility and unwanted negativity in the comments. You know, you had dudes who wasn't even there, you know, leaving their opinion and saying this and that. And so I definitely didn't tell stories with the intention to try to stir up and cause trouble. And so that was one of my reasons that made me start using nicknames and stuff like that. So anyway, if you haven't seen that story, check that story out. But due to that riot that me and Chances were caught up in, we were cellies in the hole. And so, you know, how that happened is they rounded up a big number of us, you know, Bloods and homies from the IE. It was possibly maybe about 25, 30, maybe even more than that, you know. And so they got us in these cages in the hole, and they're assigning us to the cell. So they assigned me to a cell. I went upstairs. The cell is empty. And so as I'm putting, you know, my mattress and stuff together, I hear them call Chances' name. And so now I know, okay, that's going to be my cellie, right? And so he comes up there, the door open, he comes in the cell, you know, he starts putting his mattress and stuff together. He's not even in the cell 2 or 3 minutes, and he says, yeah, chill, we'll go ahead and just kick back and chill today, but tomorrow, homie, do you know how to make weights out of the mattress? So if not, I'll show you, homie, and we'll roll those mattresses up and we'll start working out, homie. Now keep in mind, this is Ironwood. It's hot as hell. It's summertime, you know. It's probably gonna be 110, 115 degrees by 11 o'clock in the morning. Working out is the last thing that's on my mind. But of course, Chances, you know, being who he is, true to form, where program don't stop with you on the main line, you in the hole, wherever it is, you know, he gonna do what he gonna do, man. And so yeah, the very next day we got cracking, you know, we rolled those mattresses up. Actually, they give us some big, you know, thick mattresses up in there. And once you roll them up, it adds a little bit more weight to them. You'll cut a little string from the sheets that they give you to tie it up. And then you can do curls and a lot of different exercises with those weights, you know. And so, like I said, man, it's hot down there. You know, they ain't feeding us too swell. And so working out definitely was not one of my main priorities in that hole. You know, eventually we was approved to go to the yard, which is even hotter outside. You know, we out there working out and stuff, you know, doing what we do. Now, it was upon this time that me and Chances be in the cell, we in there, we talking, we chopping it up, is when I learned that Chances was not a lifer. Initially I had just assumed that Chances had life because of the way he programmed. He was always very militant. He was definitely an extremist. He always was making knives, had knives, issuing knives out to the homies, making sure dudes who wanted knives had knives and stuff like that. So just the way he did time and the way he carried himself, which in my mind, he gave no cares about going home, just made me assume that he had life. And so upon learning that he did not have life, I said, damn, Chances, don't you want to go home? He said, oh yeah, man, most definitely. But he said one of his models was, in order to make it home, he has to get home, meaning that he had to make it out of the penitentiary first. And if you do time, like your life is not serious to you, you may not make it out of the penitentiary. And so like I said, we in the hole, and due to the large number of people who were took into the hole because of this incident, I knew that we was gonna at least be in the hole at least a month and a half, just waiting to be assigned our 115s. A 115 is basically a paper when you get a disciplinary infraction in prison and they write you up, you've broke some type of rule. It's actually known as the RVR, rule violation report. And so, I knew that due to the large number of people, we was going to be sitting in the hole at least a month and a half. And then in the event we happened to be found guilty, we was probably going to be in the hole from anywhere from 3 months to maybe a year and a half, depending on, what they happen to find us guilty of, right? And so, like I said, it was upon this time us talking and chopping it up that I found out Chances did not have life. Now, of course, we'd be in there talking and chopping up, because we're not getting fed good. So every now and then our conversation may drift to, some good food out there. And he was talking about how, in the event he does get out, because like I said, his motto was, in order to make it out, you have to make it out. He would shoot me some pictures, so on and so forth, right? So we in there, we chopping it up. One day, I finally received my 115. Now, the 115, as the police often do, is filled with lies and inconsistencies. So I believe that I had a great chance of possibly beating my 115 due to all the lies that was in it. Of course, there was always a bit of skepticism, because the 115, of course, has to be heard by a lieutenant. And so they all have a tendency to, regardless of whether the 115 seems plausible or not, ride with their staff and the people who work up under them who wrote the 115. So when I had a chance to go to my 115 hearing, I surprisingly was found not guilty. Like I said, there was a lot of lies in there. The police alleged that me and one of my homies named Kiki was fighting 2 other Bloods, and they had to mace us. I believe it was about 3 or 4 different guards claimed that they maced us numerous times with 5 to 7 second bursts because we all refused to stop fighting. Well, anytime you get maced, they have to document that in their report and when they decontaminate you. And so, of course, I knew that it was a lie. I knew that I didn't get maced. So then once I got to checking the other individuals who they claimed that we was fighting against, I seen that none of them had been decontaminated either. And so, of course, I used all that to strengthen my argument and claimed that I wasn't participating in the riot. When I told this story, there was a dude who argued me up and down and said basically that I was wrong for going in there and telling them that I wasn't involved in a riot. Well, I don't know where they do that at, right? When I grew up in my criminality, right, I was always taught, you never tell on yourself, right? It's always your job to lie and try to get away with it, and it's the police's job to catch you, right? So of course I was 100% guilty, but I denied anything to do with it, and eventually that time it turned out in my favor. So eventually I was released to the yard, and Chances, they ended up finding him guilty, of course, and that was the last time that I seen him. Fast forward to about 2006. I'm at SATAT. I'm in the hole. Initially, I was on the 2 yard. I was charged with a stabbing, and so now I'm sitting in the hole, dealing with these issues that I've been charged with. And one day, lo and behold, sure enough, true to his word, I get some pictures from Chances. Actually, some of those pictures are the pictures that I use for the thumbnail when I do my stories on Chances. You know, and he's you know, in some of the pictures he's got his weights with him. You know, he was at a Thanksgiving dinner and he's showing me the nice spread of food that they have there, so on and so forth, right? And so that was the last I'd heard of him. You know, eventually I'm sent to the 4-yard. I beat the stabbing that I was charged with. I'm sent to the 4-yard. From there I'm sent to CMC East, which is a level 3 yard. So now when I'm in the reception building at CMC East, you know, it's homies from the Inland Empire coming past there hollering at me. It's a homie that we have by the name of SP. And like I said, I hadn't heard from Chances since he sent those pictures, right? But something just told me, man, I just had a weird feeling. I don't know what made me feel like that. I had a weird feeling that Chances was at that prison. Like I said, I hadn't spoke to him or whatever. So I asked the homie SP, I said, hey, man, it wouldn't be a homie here by the name of Chances. He said, yeah, Chances is in the building. I'll go and get him. So he went and got Chances. Now, the reception building at CMC, it has like a mesh screen on the window. So you can't see in, you know, you can see out. So when he comes to the window, I hit him with some Swahili. I tell him good morning. And J Masabuy and Ndugu. He hit me back. And J Masabuy Kuwewe. You know, we go to talking. He said, hey, man, wait a minute, man. Who is that up in there? I said, hey, man, this is Chill. You know, he like, Chill, what's going on? So, you know, we chopped it up a little bit. I told him, hey, when they let me out, I'm going to come holler at you. So eventually, you know, I get released. You know, I go find him and stuff. And we chopping it up. You know, we catching up. And he telling me this and telling me that or whatever. What had been going on with him since the last time he wrote, you know. Because like I said, when he wrote me, he was free in Northern California somewhere. And so, of course, you know, we chopping it up, whatever, you know, we catching up on old times and stuff. I'm telling him, you know, what had currently been going on with me and how I end up coming there and so on and so forth. You know, I just got out the hole for this little, this knife play incident. And, you know, he's telling me all the stuff that he'd been through or whatever, right? So I believe we may have been able to hang out maybe about a week or two, you know. And so right before he was called back to the hole, so he happened to get into it with a cat, man. And so I forget the nature of the issue they had between them, but it was, you know, it was kind of a small incident, and the dude he happened to get into it with was probably in his mid to late 20s. And so I happened to work with the dude, and this dude was one of those dudes who thought he was, you know, he was super crip. You know, he always thought he was, you know, the dude thought he was tough or whatever. Now, Chances is Chances. You know, when I say that, I mean he's always cool. He's always calm, respectful, laid back. You know, he'll walk past dudes like, hey, what's going on, black man? How you doing? You know, once again, he's respectful, but he's not with the games and the BS, you know. And like I said, I can't remember the exact nature of the issue that these dudes had got into it with. But so he come out one morning, you know, he let me know that he had got into this dude, and he let me know that he was strapped. He had his knife on him, and he was potentially getting ready to go down. So of course I told him, give me a few minutes. I'm just to go upstairs and get mine. I believe I had mine stashed in the day room. So I go upstairs, I get it, I come back down. And so as he's telling me what's going on, he said, hey, Chill, there go the dude coming right there, man. It's getting ready to go down. Now, so the dude is walking down there with another one of his homies. Now, he telling me once again, hey, Chill, man, when this dude get within arm's length, I'm going to go ahead and blast him out of his boots. He said, if the other dude gets cracking or try to get cracking, you know what to do. So as they walking out, the closer they get, the dude that's coming with him starts to slow up, and he's walking even slower and slower. And so when they get within maybe about, or when the initial dude who he had the problem with, when he gets to maybe about 6 or 7 feet, he said, hey, excuse me, OG, let me holler at you, man. You know, everything is solid, man. I just want to holler at you. So Chance, you know, tell him no problem, man. He go up to him or whatever. They talk. At the end, they shake hands, and the young dude walk away. Obviously, somebody had told that young dude, hey, man, that dude you dealing with right there, he's serious, man. And so Chance has explained to me how the young dude that came back basically said it was a misunderstanding. He didn't want no problems. He didn't harbor no ill will, and they left it at that, right? And so maybe about 2 or 3 days later, we out in the yard, we chilling. All of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, they call Chances his name, and they tell him to report to the program office. So he's like, hey, man, I don't know what's going on, right? So he goes to the program office. Maybe about 5-10 minutes later, I see him coming out of the program office. He got on handcuffs, and they end up taking him to the hole. So he ended up sending word back that what happened was he was down in Chino, and of course he was down in Chino, doing what he do, staying militant, organizing the brothers down there, getting people ready for potentially what may go on in prison, making knives, passing knives out, and they had dropped a kite on him or something and sent him to the hole. So when he came to CMC, he was supposed to also stay in the hole. They ended up making a mistake, releasing him to the main line. So once they caught their mistake, they claim, they took him back to the hole. And that was the last time that I physically saw Chances. And so fast forward, that was like 2006 once again. So fast forward to maybe about 2019, 2020, whenever I started doing my YouTube page, eventually I got around to telling some stories about Chances. So I told a couple stories, and then one day in my comments, a lady gets at me and she tells me that Chances is her brother, because up to that point I hadn't heard from Chances anymore. I had no idea where he was or even if he was still alive. I'd always, when I would talk to homies who I feel that may know him or may know of him or may have a line on him, and once I inquired about him, nobody actually knew where he was, right? So this lady who said she was her brother, and so this lady who said that Chances was her brother, she told me that he's doing well, and Chances was her brother, and she appreciated me doing some stories on her. So I left a message to her saying, hey, go tell him to get in contact with me, but I never heard back from her. So maybe about a year later, I did another story mentioning Chances, and a dude left me a message in the comments, and he said that Chances was his uncle and he could put me in touch with him. And so I left him a message again. I told him, to hook that up, and eventually he put me and Chances in touch. And so that's how we've come to, bring you guys some stories and interviews and so on and so forth. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys the story about my last time of actually seeing Chances, being able to hang out with him. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to get together, bring you guys some interviews where we're in person. But until then, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program. This video was sponsored by Mitchell Law Firm. If you have a record, or you happen to know somebody who has a record, and that record is hindering or impeding the quality of employment they're able to obtain, I strongly suggest you seek the law services of Farrah Mitchell. Miss Mitchell is a criminal law attorney who specializes in record expungement. Her services are nationwide, meaning regardless of whatever state you may have been convicted in, she still may be able to help. She also offers various other legal services at an extremely reasonable rate. So once again, I strongly suggest you contact her, get your record expunged, and get your life back in order.